Hello everyone. Today we are going to study a roadside stand by Robert Frost. You must have studied poems by Robert Frost. Yes, he was a highly acclaimed American poet. He was born in 1874 and died in 1963. Stopping by the woods on a snowy evening, then mending walls are a few of his well-known poems. In the poem A Roadside Stand, Frost presents the lives of poor deprived people with pitiless clarity and with deepest sympathy and humanity. A roadside stand, you all must be knowing what is a roadside stand. That is a shop that is placed on the road. Yes, a hutment, or it's an extended part of a hutment. Now let's see what he has to say in this poem. He is of deepest sympathy for humanity, especially the poor people. Let me explain it stanza-wise. The little old house was out with a little new shed in front at the edge of the road where the traffic sped. A roadside stand that too pathetically pled, it would not be fair to say for a dole of bread, but for some of the money, the cash, whose flow supports the flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. The polished traffic passed with mind ahead, or if ever aside a moment, then out of sorts, at having the landscape marked with the artless paint of signs that with end turned wrong and as turned wrong, offered for sale wild berries in wooden quarts, or crook-necked golden squash with silver warts, or beauty rest in a beautiful mountain scene. You have the money, but if you want to be mean, why keep your money this crossly and go along? The heart to the scenery wouldn't be my complaint, so much as the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand and ask for some city money to feel in hand, to try if it will not make our being expand and give us the life of the moving pictures, promise that a party in power is said to be keeping from us. In the stanza, the poet says, what is the expectations of the owner of the roadside stand? Yes, it is a little house that was out with a little new shed. So the farmer, the owner, has extended a shed to his own house and having all the essential commodities there. In front of the edge of the road, that is at the edge of the road, where the traffic sped, where the vehicular traffic moves. A roadside stand that too pathetically pled. So it pleads as if the roadside stand pleads from the polished, rich traffic of the city. It would not be fair to say for a dole of bread, not exactly for a piece of bread, but for some of the money, the cash whose flow supports the flower of cities from sinking and withering faint. Not exactly for a living, but it wants some money, the money of the rich people of the town, whose money helps in sinking and withering the city. So something they will buy from this shed and that money will be utilized by the owner. The polished traffic passed with a mind ahead. So the vehicular traffic from the city, that is known as the polished traffic, the rich people, they pass by the roadside stand with a target in their mind that I have to reach this place at this time. Or if ever aside a moment, then out of sorts, they don't halt in the roadside stand to buy something. And if at times they are about to halt, that also they are very annoyed. Why? Out of sorts, at having the landscape marked with artless paint of signs that with end turned wrong and s turned wrong, offered for sale in berries and wooden quarts. They are unhappy at the erection of the roadside stand on the edge of the road. That is defaming the beauty of the landscape. They are of that impression. And again, how it's sometimes in some places the N is turned wrong, S is turned wrong. So that defames the beauty of the landscape. In a similar way, this roadside stand also which is offering to sell berries in wooden quarts, in quart vessels, or crook-necked golden squash at silver warts. You know, golden squash, that that pumpkin, yes, with warts in it, or beauty rest in a beautiful mountain serene. Whatever is being provided by the roadside stand, it is but pure things. But they don't bother to buy any of these things. You have the money, but if you want to be mean, why keep your money this costly and go along? They want to buy things from the city, from the malls and everything, but they don't want to spend every mean-minded people that the poet is telling. So you go along. The hurt to the scenery wouldn't be my complaint. The poet says that the hurt caused to the scenery of the landscape by the roadside stand is not his complaint. So much is a trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. Something else is behind the owner of the roadside stand. He's feeling something else. Here, far from the city, we make our roadside stand and ask for some city money to feel in hand. So, this is the feeling of the owner of the roadside stand. We keep a roadside stand here so that we can feel in hand some kind of life that the people are enjoying in the city. To try if it will not make our being expand. It will not make our living style a very lavish one. We were not going to expand it in that way as compared to the city life. But some feeling, some happiness we want. That is the feeling that is being, felt by the poet. Feeling of the owner of the roadside stand. And give us the life of the moving pictures promise the departing power is said to be keeping from us. These people are rural people. They are the vote bank of the political parties in power. So they, before election, they all tell that we will do this, we will do that. But they don't do anything when they get into power. So the feeling of the roadside stand's owner is being expressed here by the poet. That we want some kind of life with some money from the city people. It is in the news that all these pitiful kin are to be bought out and mercifully gathered in to live in villages next to the theatre and the store, where they won't have to think for themselves anymore. With greedy good doers, beneficent beasts of prey swarm over their lives, enforcing benefits that are calculated to suit them out of their wits, and by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day, destroyed is sleeping at night, the ancient way. So this was the second stanza. Now I'm going to explain it. In the news, it is said that these pitiful kin, these people, poor people of the rural areas, will be brought out and mercifully gathered to live in villages next to the theatre and the store, where they won't have any problem. They will be at par with the people of the city, where they won't have to think for themselves anymore. They will be just, rejoicing their life. While greedy good doers, beneficent beasts of prey, these are the people in power, the authority, swarm over their lives, enforcing benefits that are calculated to suit them out of their wits. And they label these people as very ordinary people. They try to exploit them. Unless and until they don't have any advantage, they won't work for these old people. Yes, so some advantage they have to earn out of these. Then only they will bring them out of their poor situation. Swarm over their lives, enforcing benefits that are calculated to suit them out of their wits. And if they happen to do some work, some good work for these poor people, they will do it in such a way that it will be advantageous for them as well as for these people. They will not be able to think. That means to suit them out of their wits. They will be failing in their rationality. They'll be blindly saying, okay, these people are doing good for us. But actually it is not. They are earning advantages. They're exploiting them. And exploiting them in the sense that they're not able to use their rationality. And by teaching them how to sleep, they sleep all day. So this is what happens. Destroyed is sleeping at night, the ancient way. Somehow they distract them and they make them not able to think rationally. And as a result, what happens? They sleep all day, means they just enjoy their life. They don't toil hard. Yes. And as a result, they don't get the night's sleep properly. But that doesn't matter. These people will not go and complain if they don't get a proper night's sleep. They are exploited and distracted in this way. Let us move on to the third stanza. Sometimes I feel myself, I can hardly bear the thought of so much childish longing in vain, the sadness that lurks near the open window there, that waits all day in almost open prayer. For the squeal of brakes, the sound of a stopping car, of all the thousand selfish cars that pass, just one to inquire what a farmer's prices are, and one did stop not only to plough up grass, in using the yard to back and turn around, and another to ask the way to where it was bound. Sometimes the poet feels for himself how these people are exploited. He can hardly bear the thought of so much childish longing in vain. What is this childish longing in vain? That means the waiting, that the roadside stand owner keeps on waiting that somebody will come and buy from my roadside stand. The sadness that lurks upon near the open window there and waits all day in almost open prayer. He just sits there, okay, as if in open prayer that somebody would come and buy things from his shop. For the squeal of brakes, he waits for the squeal of brakes. The sound of a stopping car, of all the thousand selfish cars that pass, just one to inquire what a farmer's prices are. Thousands of vehicles pass the roadside stand, but none of them stop to inquire what are the prices of the farmer's commodities. And one did stop. Yes, sometimes one vehicle would stop, but only to plough up grass. Yes, plough up grass and using the yard to back and turn around. Sometimes the vehicle stops, yes. But why does it stop? Because maybe it has taken a wrong direction. He had to go right 50 meters before, but he realized then, so to turn around, to use the yard available near the roadside stand and leaving a plow on the grass, he stops. And another to ask the way to where it was bound. Yes, again maybe another car stops to ask, not to buy the things from the roadside stand, but to ask where this road leads to. And another to ask, could they sell it a gallon of gas? They couldn't, that's grossly. They had none, didn't it see? And yes, another vehicle sometimes stops for what? If they have a gallon of gas, that means the fuel for the vehicle. And this is a criticism on that part because they can see what is there in the roadside stand, just to torture the owner of the roadside stand. The final stanza. No, in country money, the country scale of gain, the requisite lift of spirit has never been found, or so the voice of the country seems to complain. I can't help owning the great relief it would be to put these people at one stroke out of their pain. And then the next day, as I come back into the same, I wonder how I should like you to come to me and offer to put me gently out of my pain. So in the final stanza, he says, the poet says that no, in country, money, the country scale of gain, nothing can uplift the spirit of life without money. The requisite lift of spirit has never been found without money. Yes, not much money is needed, but some amount of money is needed for everyone to strive for a beautiful life. Or so the voice of the country seems to complain. I can't help. So this is the general complaint that they don't have money. And they come to the conclusion that some amount of money is needed to strive for a beautiful, comfortable life. I can't help owning the great relief it would be to put these people at one stroke out of their pain. Yes, he can't help because he was so much into the, the disparity, the despair, the dejection of these people, that he feels that if at one blow, at one stroke, if we can bring a relief to these people, then it will be a relief to all. Like, this means that he wants to put them to death. But then again, the next day, when he comes, because that thought came to his mind, he was in an insane state of mind. Yes, and the next day, when he comes to the same state of mind, as I come back into the same, I wonder how I should like you to come in me and offer to put me gently out of my pain. When he comes to his sanity in his same state of mind, he realizes that you as a reader, if you come and offer me and blow me out to death, then how will I feel? So similar is the case with those people. How can he bring relief? By putting them to death at one stroke. So that is the end of the poem. Thank you.